We are continuing our little project that we've decided to do. We're building things kind of primarily geared towards VR and experiencing them in VR. My job here is to build things. Steve's job here is to experience the trials and tribulations that I'm putting him through. And we have a guest with us today. His name is Tyser. He's a YouTube content creator. Welcome to the show, Tyser.
Hello, it's a pleasure to be here.
This is exciting. So, Steve, you know Tyser, so why don't you go ahead and introduce him, and then we'll let Tyser share a little bit about the work he does.
Yeah, so Aaron, great to see you. We miss you. Aaron we've been fortunate enough to work with Aaron Tyser at a lot of our Mindfair events, where he would join us all the way from the UK and be one of our featured content creators. And we've really grown developed a nice friendship. Tyser, kind of feels like part of the family, when we're together there. So anyway, I've been always drawn to his work because as I've been interested in developing content for VR and such, that's what Tyser's specialty is. And there aren't too many creators out there that have been doing the kinds of things he's doing with content in Minecraft specifically for VR. So a lot of 360 video, a lot of really cool experiences, and that sort of thing. And he does it in interesting ways with things like the replay mod and such. And Tyser's been kind enough on a number of occasions to join my class and demo stuff. And he's presented this stuff at Minecraft in addition to doing all of his meet and greets and signings and all that cool stuff. So we're thrilled to have you. Thank you. And
thank you for having me.
Yeah. And I definitely want you to, if you could show some of your cool stuff so our audience just gets a sense of what's even possible out there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I've been doing YouTube since about 2012 now. I made my first 360 Minecraft video back in, I'm trying to think now. It was a long, must be about 2014. And then over time, that one just like took off, and I was like, okay, maybe I'm onto something here that people want to see more of. Because back in 2014, there was like no 360 content available online at all. And now I make one 360 video a week, and that is kind of my hustle. So yeah. I can show you some of the content that I have done, and let me pull this up on my screen. Bear with me. Up here we go. So the content that I make is 360 videos, mainly within Minecraft. I sometimes dabble in some other games. And what is a 360 video? So it's a video that can pretty much be, well, that's an advert, but let's wait for that to clear through and then I will show it. There we go. A 360 video is one that you can physically drag around and look in any direction. But these videos are also compatible with the VR headsets. They're pretty much like backwards cross compatible, whatever you want to say. And as in with this one, which is kind of themed on Five Nights at Freddy's, but also within Minecraft, I got all my friends to kind of act in these videos. I edit in voiceovers afterwards in Adobe Premiere and various other editing softwares, and then render them out and then put them onto the channel. So, but I think it adds like a whole new level of immersive storytelling to videos that I think especially like younger kids are very interested in, like seeing and engaging with.
And a lot of the videos too, like, so of course I could view them in VR. I could also be on, I think, in YouTube and even experience them in 360 with the mouse, to do the different viewing around the experience. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yeah. This is what I'm doing here. So even though this video is completely compatible with, a VR headset, and if you're on mobile, you would have the option to view it in VR. But even on the desktop, you can still enjoy it and drag around using the mouse or using the arrow keys to look around in different directions.
Right. Yeah, that's one of the things that's drawn me so much to Minecraft in VR is that the experience is so immersive to begin with. And once you have the headset on and you're living in that world, it's pretty wild.
No, absolutely. I also find that like a lot of the audience who have VR headsets and watch my content really like being able to almost like live out a YouTuber in the video. You know, they watch
Yeah.
YouTubers, they play Minecraft. This is almost like a combination of both, because you're in the game as if you're playing it, and you're still getting that like YouTuber added element, you know, the storytelling, the music, the sound effects, all that kind of stuff. So
Very
I think
cool.
it's pretty neat. Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are built by this for example is a world built by you.
This one, no, this is a dropper map. So they're very common. I usually get these from suggestions or from fans that have made them, and then I'll make a video on them. I would love to make this kind of stuff myself, but the production time of a video is already so long, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I have to say, like 50% of my content is stuff that I have handmade, and 50% isn't. Like this particular one isn't, but the more storytelling ones, as for example, this one, where I mean, which is a Five Nights at Freddy's Minecraft based one. We went and built this whole entire room, which is it's certainly a smaller set than the other one that we needed. So some things we make, some things we will find online and then turn them into content.
Who do you have working with you on like the builds and that sort of thing?
So at the beginning, it was no one. It was very difficult to do it all myself. And then over time, I've luckily just been able to, through Discord, develop I don't want to say a fan base, because they've kind of become more than that. They are, you know, almost they're friends now, to help out and make these videos. So people who, you know, originally found my content and wanted to just engage more with it, and they found the Discord through the description and stuff. And then I very regularly look for new people to come and help out, because some of these productions we need 10, 20 people in character on set to physically move and pretend and play the actual characters. I mean, as you can see here, there's 4 in front of us. Which, you know, if we wanted to fill up this whole room, we'd need 10, 20. So, yeah.
Nice. Very cool.
Very
cool.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm just curious too, like, just because are some of the who are some of the folks that act with you, you know, voice actors and stuff? I'm familiar with some of them.
Yeah. So the way I normally do these videos is we film everything with body actors. So the people actually acting right now are friends who don't actually do the voices. So that all comes in the edit. And I will script out, and I will send off a script to Gizzy Gaza is one I can think off the top of my head. OMG Chad's done many lines for me. Pink the Diamond Diva. I could list so many people who've helped me in these videos.
That's awesome.
And they'll send them back, and then it's all about like matching up the voice lines with the head nodding of the characters and kind of turning it into a full thing.
Right. So by the time you say you do one a week, which I mean, I've got to imagine, like, what kind of time goes into the editing portion? Because that.
Oh my God, I can't even, like, I'm getting.
Oh, I can.
I'm getting the shakes just thinking about it. Like, I mean, it's actually a really good lesson in the idea that if you want to be like a YouTuber, like, this is a good lesson for the kids.
Yeah.
You know, and we talk about this, Glenn and I, on the podcast, and I've talked about it personally because, you know, I definitely consider myself at this point a content creator myself. Is that there's an incredible amount of work that goes just beyond, you know, actually getting in the game and playing it. You, Kaiser, are probably, I would consider, an expert in Adobe Premiere.
Certainly for 360 editing. Yeah.
You'd have to be.
I'm just
how many hours? Like, I think Steve's question, and I'd love to know, how many hours do you think you're putting into a video? I have a guess, but I'd like to.
So the whole process from start to finish, I have to say, is, well, I can go through it. So initially it's about finding the map and finding what you want to film. Maybe that takes an hour or so. Yeah. And then you will find I'm just putting up my this was a small video, but this is still a fair bit.
Oh, look at that. See, that gives me the shit.
So finding it maybe in maybe an hour coming up with a concept. If the map needs to be built, that may take a couple of hours. Script writing will take another 2-3 hours. Well, yeah, it depends. If we can find one, if we just need to edit a previous map.
Yeah.
And then the recording process takes about 2 hours because there's a lot of stop starts. Even though this was a 6-minute long video, it took us about 2.5 hours to film.
Right.
Just because there's a lot of cuts, we have different scenes, different like locations, and then I have to render it out into an editing format. That takes. I have to leave my computer running overnight, and for a 10-minute video, it's approximately about 48 hours of physical rendering. Yeah. I usually have my laptop.
2 days in your workflow just in the rendering.
Absolutely. So, as an example, I've got a video going on Saturday. I am filming it straight after this, and then my computer will not be turning off for 2 days while it is turning it into the editing format. And then when I edit, it takes me, I'd say about 4 to 6 hours, maybe even pushing 8 hours sometimes, depending on the length, to get it out.
It's amazing. So in about a 6 to 8 minute video, I mean, is probably your 40-hour work week easily.
Right. I mean, absolutely.
Yeah, that's amazing. And the things come to mind to me. Like, first off, when you're rendering it like that for that 48 hours, is there a concern of like if something if you run into an error while it's rendering, and does it mess the whole thing up and you have to start over? Or
100%. We a very common issue that I run into is we use there's a lovely mod for the Java edition called More Player Models, and it allows you to basically you can play any entity within the game in first person.
Wow.
And it's really good for more player models. And it also allows you to, one of the features it has is you can get Imgur links of skins, and you can hot swap them. So you don't have to go through the typical the website way of doing it.
Wow. Okay.
And sometimes that messes up during the rendering process, and that can you don't find out till it's finished. And then you look back and you realize someone's got the wrong skin
again.
Yep. So very often I have my laptop set up as well next to me, rendering out the same thing.
Oh, okay. I see.
So trying to have a backup.
Hoping that one works if the other doesn't. I mean, that's just wild. Geez.
Yeah, it's very finicky, and it's a very I do wonder if all the extra work's worth it, but
the other thing I was thinking is the amount that you must have learned from like deciding you wanted to do this initially till where you are now is just phenomenal.
Oh yeah. If there's one thing that's I'll tell you, just speaking for me, like I've never learned more like on a consistent regular basis than I've learned doing content creation stuff. Like I'm making mistakes basically every day with this work and learning something new, whether it's with the podcast or now I'm streaming twice a day and doing YouTube videos every day. Like there's lots going on. I'm sure Tyson, you're the same.
Oh no, absolutely. It's juggling all this, and then I'm still running a business on top of it, and then I have other channels I'm running as well. So yeah, it's a lot.
yeah. That's the lesson I always like for people watching and kids to hear is the you think you turn on your camera and you're have this chance to be a celebrity, and the amount of work that goes into it, I always have to reinforce, because that's where it is. It's dedication and it's commitment, and it's does not happen overnight, that's for sure. But very, very cool. And this, what we're looking at right now is that Premiere? Is that when you're doing the edits?
So I have a little preview window. So I edit, I could show this like this. When I edit, the raw video before it's in VR is this, they call it unwrapped. So this is basically a 360 view. So on the left, we have the back, and then in the middle, we have the front, and then this wraps around. So it's almost like you are in you're looking at everything at the same time. I like to imagine if you took like a physical globe and you sliced it down the middle and tried like making it flat, this is what it would look like. And this is what I edit with, which took me a long time to wrap my head around as well. Because when you're so used to looking at normal 2D video, looking at this and trying to understand what is the front, what's the back, what's up, what's down, took me a good few weeks to get a hang of it. But this is what I look at when I edit in 360. And then down below is the timeline where we have our video tracks, and then we have every single one of these little ones here is a different voice line. And then we have sound effects, and then we have music at the bottom.
Wow.
So that's it.
Cool.
Very cool stuff.
All right. Well, one of the things we were excited about too is that you were willing to play with us today as we continue work on our project. So to give you a little context on this, again, I do one of the things I've been doing in class is research on VR in the classroom, and it occurred to me finally after forgetting that we always come back to Minecraft, that Minecraft is a great tool to use for creating content and experiencing it in VR. In fact, out of all the things I've been doing in VR, the first real mind-blowing experiences I had was when I was at the Minecraft office and got to beta test Minecraft in VR and was riding in a minecart looking all around, and I was like, this is finally what VR, is meant to kind of be. So then the fact that I had the opportunity to have students directly creating content in Minecraft for VR was like a game changer. And one of the first projects that we had that really went well was when I had 3 kids creating a game in Minecraft for VR, and every day in class I would have 2 kids just building and 1 kid typically in VR, kind of exploring and giving immediate feedback back to the classmates about what kind of worked, what didn't work, where they were kind of feeling closed in, and maybe we needed to account for the different medium of virtual reality and things like that. So also this week, there's doing a Students in VR conference on Thursday and Friday. And on Thursday during our stream, we'll be featured by them. And then Thursday afternoon, one of my students, Felix, and I will be presenting in VR as part of that. So it made sense to be a great week for us to decide to really explore Minecraft in VR. And Mike and I got together yesterday for the first session and started workshopping ideas and designing what we wanted to do. And we were both very much on the same page of like something sort of like a dungeony, mazy adventure escape room theme. So we've done that, and now we're gonna bring you into this world, Tyser.
But he's riding our roller coaster, and
That
that's
is
all I'm
awesome.
watching.
It's awesome.
I don't care what you're saying, great things, Steve, but I'm not listening to it. I'm watching him ride our roller coaster.
Oh, awesome. I figured that was you riding it, Mike.
No, this is his screen. I'm watching him ride it.
Oh, awesome, cool.
Oh,
Yeah,
gone somewhere.
that's
Intentional. The
Yeah.
intentional ditch.
we're gonna.
It actually goes into the wrong. I realize it goes into the wrong spot though. It's got to go 1 over. But
Hey, wait, go back a second there, Tyser, to that that pixel art there. Look around at that. Do you have any idea who might have made that?
I have a very good idea who may have made this.
Isn't that funny? It didn't go. Any idea, Steve? I don't know if you're in the game too, but it didn't. Yeah, okay, you can start it again there. It's stopping for some reason right at like where it's supposed to actually start.
Why do I feel like I remember seeing that? Where is that at the?
I like that little tunnel right there.
This is cool. I like this. Oh,
Whoa, that was mean. And also the idea too, riding this in virtual reality for the most part works as well. And I think we even made some accommodations for that.
I also find that the roller coasters tend to be the most popular 360 videos, VR videos that I've made.
Yeah. Well, you
love seeing them.
You have that cool, what is it, Infinite Coaster it's called or something like that?
Yeah.
or Infinite Railway, whatever. But it's awesome, and that's a great demo of the idea of 360 because you're sitting in the cart, you're looking around wherever you want, and the world is happening. So that's kind of cool. So
right into the hole.
Yeah. So now, all right. Well, whatever's going on with the roller coaster, Mike, we'll certainly get back to. I have a feeling we're not done with that.
So why don't you, Tyson? Why don't you follow the path? Go back to where the entrance to the roller coaster is, that entrance area. And what we've done is we've started to create a path to all the various attractions. The spawn is that blue dot that you're passing right there. And then if you walk past that bubble and then to the left still, you're going to get to the entrance to the escape room.
Okay. I see you guys. Perfect.
So this is the entrance to the escape room so far.
It's looking awesome. Hi. Hello.
I'm going to share. I'm jumping in so I can share my VR screen as well.
I think the concept of having an escape room in VR is something I haven't seen. You know, I've seen Find the Buttons. I've seen all those kind of mini games, but the actual having an escape room, I think, is a really good idea.
Nice.
I'm excited to see.
So
help build it as well.
The idea is that it kind of requires you to have a bit of a knowledge of Minecraft, in the sense that but it's meant to be progressively more complex. Like the solutions to the things. Like, so for example, that first door, like if you know anything about Minecraft, you would know that you just got to press the button and it opens the iron door, and you're good to go. The room you're in now, has all of the available pickaxes that you could possibly choose, and then you have to figure out what you're supposed to do. Like, so for example,
what would you do here, Tyser?
What would I do? I mean, I guess I'm looking at the obsidian, so I'm guessing I would grab a diamond pickaxe and grab it and smash my way through.
Sounds like a reasonable
idea. If I do game mode survival, Tyser. All right, my friend.
I would grab this. I mean, I wouldn't. I would think destroying the rest of your. Try. Can I?
Yep. Try.
Oh, so you got bed.
What's he doing? He's wrecking our joint.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice try.
So I would definitely use this to try and get through this, hoping that it leads somewhere. Hey, there we go. I'll pop the pickaxe back.
So nice when we put the axe back.
So flint and steel, and then come out to here, and then
So this is where we're at now. So you're at now where. So now I'm actually going to change your game mode back so that you don't die. Game mode creative.
Oh no, it's a skeleton down there.
Bad guys. There's definitely bad guys. Okay, so now that you're in creative again, so you can see what we have. We've created a giant box as the home for this, as the space in which to build it.
Yeah.
You'll also see a big room, and in fact, like, we can get rid of the iron doors, because I actually want to talk about this, because this is but prior to us getting started, this is what we were talking about. So and this is where we ended up last episode. So this room will happen, a little bit further on down the line, but it is kind of mainly, I guess we're going to talk to Steve. Steve is going to work on moving this, I guess, at some point. Yeah, maybe. Even though, that being said, I think we can build to it just fine.
Well, we could, but I mean, the idea I thought was these 4 quadrants were maybe to be 4 different puzzles in it, but we could decide. That we're still on that.
But this room is fun though. So what we wanted to do was make a room where there's a block of TNT. Again, you'd be in survival, so you have to, and remember, you got that flint and steel in the lockbox earlier, so you may not necessarily know. And I also like the idea of putting other things in that box, that may be a diversion to
Mhm,
the
mhm.
actual.
Remember too, what we had yesterday before we kind of reverted back to this was we had sort of like a white pyramid looking thing that you would be like intrigued by. And when you get up to the top and look in is when you finally see the TNT. So I think we might go back to that. I mean, we don't need the TNT. You're just leaving it here for now just to show the proof of concept, I'm thinking, right?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, remember how yesterday we had this whole thing enclosed.
It was an
like,
inverse pyramid. The pyramid's underneath, and it was only because.
But it was
It was
kind of
only
cool.
because you had to like have things like underneath, like it's under the box.
Right. I think the idea, though, that I liked at least at that point was that you kind of just came in this room and you didn't know what it was all about, and you see this pyramid or something, and then you climb up it, and then you look down, and that's where you see a block of TNT, and then you blow that up, which then reveals the stuff underneath. But either way, we could, would work.
Well, so if you blow this up
Yeah.
right now, what it does is it just explodes space.
Oh, I see. And there is a hidden chest.
There's a chest underneath there.
Yes.
Yeah. And inside
That's
the
sort of
chest
like
is-
that hide a button, kind of idea, but we're giving you you're finding a lever, which will then
open
what
a
Mike
door.
and Mike purposely now made 4 doors, but 3 probably, or 2 of them will probably go to nowhere. One of
Yeah.
us takes us back, and one of them will take us to the next room.
That's fun. So we're trying to think of some other experiences. I guess would be like maybe, a cool contribution, Kaiser, would be some ideas on what other neat escape room-esque, but like I'm not adverse to some redstone type requirements. It'd be neat, Steve, also, and this would be your expertise for sure, is the idea of something where you have to use where it relies on command blocks to like make walls disappear and then reveal something, or maybe like multiple. I had this idea this morning while I was walking, of having to like reveal multiple walls in a certain order in order to reveal something like a door.
Oh, yeah, I mean, all that's great. The Ben just brought up an interesting point too, and we've done things. My kids have done things like this. My kids are big into death runs and stuff where there are all these like trap rooms and things. So Ben said, "Is there a way to use a command block to slowly fill a room with water and get out before you drown?"
Oh, that's
Certainly,
a great idea.
Either that or anything along those lines where it slowly, it would be an interesting. I wonder how this would work.
Also the mobs on pressure plates is an awesome idea too.
Totally. We would definitely do that. Like,
without
so
killing
one
yourself.
room has to be like a maze, because the other thing about that is in VR, VR is kind of, I think it was created for maze-like experiences, when not on a roller coaster. So I think that's an interesting idea too. So if you have a maze and we have the pressure plates that do things like bring mobs automatically, we can have also pressure plates that, like, you might think you're about to hit a dead end, and then that's when a door, or an opening is revealed. I think those kind of things would be interesting. And of course, every once in a while have to have them advance and fall into a pit of lava or something. But the idea of that water filling kind of thing, or something like that, is a great idea too. So we have a few new ideas already.
Okay, I'm cracking out the iPad again.
You're gonna sketch some stuff out.
I have thoughts.
I've got thoughts, he says.
Only one I can think of is the old one where you would have a bunch of redstone, you would have a glass floor, and then underneath you would have a bunch of minecart tracks, and then you had to flick various levers to try and push the minecart towards the very end of this maze. So you're almost doing a maze, but in third person.
I love that. You get that, Mike?
Say that one again.
So like have like a glass floor, and underneath it we have like a redstone thing with different rail carts and like, you know, like almost like different configurations or a maze where the rail carts go, but we have to, from up above, control the movement of these carts, maybe so that they hit a detector rail to open a door or something like that. Is that kind of what you're saying?
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
That would be awesome. Definitely that.
Gonna need a bigger room.
Oh, and then this is interesting too. Becky says, or a barrier floor. Like we could have one kind of maze where it's like one of those invisible mazes where, you know, you try to walk and you just can't walk because you're, you know, there's borders there. So it's like, is that what you mean, Becky? Like an invisible maze kind of thing? Because that I like. And good morning, Eric. Good morning, Ben. Good morning, Scott. Love that you're all here. Thank you. So what do you got? Player controlled rail. I love that idea. I think that's interesting because that's just so visual too for you from up above to be like, And in VR, I think that would be pretty neat to watch and to think about. So water room, throw in a regular old maze. The maze would go with the mob to pressure plate. I think.
My idea for a maze, and this is why I got it out. So the idea that, let's say you had a hallway like this, maybe like this, so a couple halls, and like each of these kind of spaces here would have to be triggered by like some sort of a command block. So you'd have like a command block here, 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 kind of thing, hidden, obviously, and like some sort of a trigger at each area, and you'd have to reveal, like if you trigger this, it opens this up, but this one leads to like a dead end. This is the only way out, kind of thing. But you have these like a lava room where you have to like jump from like
a parkour type of thing,
and like maybe the blocks disappear. We can do that too. Like that's totally like you can do that with command blocks where you have where you have like a 5 second to jump to the next block.
Here's another interesting thing too, Mike, is with the one of the things I like is the execute and detect commands in command blocks, where you could make it so every time I step on, like, let's say a yellow, a yellow stained glass, something happens, like I get teleported into the air, and every time I step on a blue one, something else happens, and that becomes a puzzle that either, almost like Simon in a way, let's say you have to do it in the right order to do something, or with your idea of the, like maybe if I step on certain colored plates, it propels me and gives me a jump that's high enough to get to the next thing, over the lava, that kind of thing. Or even like a sort of, remember doodle jump?
Yeah.
Doodle jump. So like you could create a doodle jump type experience too, which is sort of the opposite of the dropper. And even a dropper, well, it wouldn't be so much an escape room as much as a skill thing, but a dropper could be fun. The lava room is parkour, but a switch on the other side releases water, which gives you cobblestone, which you need for something. So creating like a cobblestone generator, that would be towards the end where, getting a little tricky. Why don't we?
I have a question for both of you, and you can probably answer this. What of this kind of stuff is a unique, because what we're actually trying to do here is make things that are particularly good that in VR.
Yeah.
So what of these, like some of these are pretty, I wouldn't want to say normal, but they're interesting experiences whether you're in VR or not. Which ones of these are interesting experiences, particularly in VR? Like I think a water room, especially if there was a water room where the water is slowly rising, and I don't know how we do that, but that would be pretty traumatic, to be honest. If you're in first person in VR.
True.
That'd be
Oh, and
scary
yeah,
to tell, to be perfectly,
Ben
especially in survival.
Ben brought up a good point too. Swimming in VR is fun. I mean, that like talk about like a sort of snorkeling like experience. You kind of get that. So maybe we even make one room that's like like you're in the aquarium and have to sort of swim and solve it, and maybe you have a what do you call it, like a potion that allows of underwater breathing or whatever they call it, that lasts a certain amount of time, so you're sort of plagued by that, but also have this great visual experience. I also think a couple other things for VR that are especially neat are, I like that maze idea, like walking through a maze gives you this interesting VR kind of experience, but also, and I think, I'm not sure if this is what Eric's getting towards, but like yes, to take the whole environment from above. If we had like a tower type thing, Mike, where like how the watch towers in Satisfactory, you might be familiar with those.
What's
Like
Satisfactory?
that idea of being up above and looking around, and especially like even in Zelda they have that experience too, right? Like where you're up top and you're looking around. But in VR that is pretty impressive. Like I've had kids do things like create the let's say the Empire State Building, and you're up at the top looking around at the city skyline from there. That's an impressive use of VR for sure.
I'd say if you could combine something with a high height with a dropper-esque experience, even if it's not, if you make it like a big pool of water, so there's not much skill required.
That's true.
I find falling in VR is very quite something.
That's great. So we take the idea of having this observatory up high where you have something visual to see outside, and we have cool stuff in our world to begin with. You'd see the roller coaster, you'd see this, you'd see that. Maybe there'd be something about that. But then the idea, like Tyser says, is that then you're dropping into the next experience or something like that. Maybe that's even how we start the whole thing. Because it's not even like we're necessarily forcing, like maybe they have to figure out how to open the trapdoor for the dropper, but once they do that, they just drop.
Mm-hmm.
And Becky brought up a good point too, is the whole idea of VR. Remember, that's another thing for VR, Mike, is that the looking around and having to observe things. Like when we play Minecraft, like, you certainly are wandering around, looking around, but in VR, it's the whole head gaze thing to see where you're going to find the clue. So like when you have things like a drop, like the hidden button type thing, and you have it like up here, but just you could barely see it. I mean, that might be something where the VR experience kind of helps us really, look around the room to find the clues.
So if we did like over here, if we did like this, I love the water room idea. Like that's fun. Like, so I'm trying to like map it out.
Mm-hmm.
But like this is so you maybe in this space here, instead of a room here, this is where we create sort of a maze,
Mm-hmm.
a small maze space. So we have like a dead end here. We have a dead end kind of over here. We have, maybe even like a space that leads to another space here. So be like this. Like this, there's a wall here. Let's say there's like a wall here. There's a wall here. A wall here. And here, but the actual way out is, here. We figure out how to trigger all of that.
So wait, where am I starting? Coming out of this room, maybe this is where I had the flint and steel. So this is before we even get to using the flint and steel, which is what you said before as an idea too, is like In other words, you have this flint and steel, but you don't even know why you have it.
Don't know why you have it yet.
Mm.
Right. But now we
So,
have these walls that you have to like trigger. Like, so we would in the actual walls.
Here, like this would be this would open.
Yeah, somehow we gotta trigger, like, so putting like command blocks underneath here, and or redstone, or however you want to do it.
I mean,
to trigger these walls. Kathy's really good at this too.
Well, the easy answer, which would be the Kathy approach, is that you simply, you have a command block that all it does is, do you see the block I'm pointing at? Like you just have one of these blocks become filled with air, or 2 blocks, and that opens that space. So it's like really like you just walk here or wherever you go to, or not even there. What's kind of cool is, like, let's say we want a door over here to open, but we go over here and we step on a pressure plate and we don't even really know what it did, but then we go back here only to realize that there's a door that's open, or a passageway that's open.
I was going to suggest, how about having pressure plates on that notion that, you think maybe even have an iron door here and it doesn't open up the iron door.
Yeah.
And it almost fools you, and you look to your left behind you and you realize, oh, that door's opened, right?
Oh, that's a great idea. Yep.
To try and mess with you, especially if you're in VR and you're wondering what doors are opening and closing.
Right. So that's interesting, because if the pressure plate was right in front of the iron door, by default it would open. But are you saying maybe if you have something behind it that's blocking it from being open, would that work?
I think so. Yeah, I'm trying to think of various ways that you could do it, unless you just did it simply with command blocks and making them go, turn them into air. Yeah. Or if you wanted to, you could make it a you could put timers on command blocks, right? So it would go back. You could do so hear me out. You could walk here, step on a pressure plate. It started a 5-second timer, and this one opens. And then you have to step on another pressure plate, and you have to come back before the timer stops to then get through here. So it almost becomes a small maze time challenge.
Yeah. If you do that, I mean, to make the timer thing happen, I think you'd need like a little bit of a redstone clock. I wish that command blocks let you just say pause, or do something like that, but I don't think they do. But even, like I say, even if we're like, let's say I'm over, here, and I do something, and like you said, I step on a pressure plate, but it seems like nothing happened. And then when I go back, all of a sudden, a doorway over here is open that wasn't before. I mean, of course, you'd have to have it be intuitive enough that kids wouldn't, or whoever's playing wouldn't just think, oh, nothing happened.
Yeah.
But so are the red parts the parts that are going to have to, in some cases, reveal how to get through them to get through the path? Is that what you're thinking, Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Somehow have like inner. I don't know. I'd love it if you guys. Yeah.
Sometimes, like, there's some of them here. Like, so in other words, real simply, let's just do one of them just to do as an example of just the simple, because then we'll show it to people too. So right now, I'm going to just make this one block below me become air, just for the sake of doing, going.
I put some walls up around it.
Yeah.
Yeah, feel free to build that out.
And another thing, Tyser, too, if you want to workshop a little bit that idea that you had about the glass with like the rail carts under, and give a little start, to that at some point, you're welcome to, and then we could continue to build that. Also,
we should map out where that would be. I think that's.
I love that idea.
Give me an idea. I can put a little concept down, and then
So I got a couple other rooms on the go here. I've got a space, because I also liked the idea, because I think uniquely VR is kind of the I can't remember who said it, whether it was in the chat or one of you said, or it was said and written, but the idea of spatial kind of awareness, the fact that things are above you and below you in your visual range, right, is important. So I've built a room here quickly, and obviously it can be redecorated. But the idea that you would go into a room and the thing that you're looking for is actually above you. So you got to kind of like parkour your way up. So if you come, you can see this room where I've got these red blocks, and you'd have to like get on them
Mm.
to make your way to the space, to the thing that you're trying to get to, which is this chest at the top. Collecting things room to room, perhaps a dropper, perhaps to drop in a dropper, and you get a win message or freedom in the last room. It'd be, oh my god, it'd be neat to like, okay, so the very last room, for example, has like, this is so Zelda, right? Where the very last room has item frames, and it tells you the things that you need that are interplaced like in various chests in the rooms, and you have to collect all those and then put them. Can we trigger a command block to do something when you put a certain amount of or a certain type of things in a chest? Do we have that power, Steve?
I'm sorry. Can you say that part again? So
Do
you
we have
have
the ability with a command block
Mhm.
to have a command block react to a quantity and type of item, a combination of a quantity and types of items in a chest?
You know what the easier way to do that, I think, would be to have a chest somewhere else that you clone with the contents in it, and when you activate this command block, it puts that chest where you wanted it.
Oh, but that defeats the purpose of, like, the idea was to find the things throughout the various rooms that you may need, like a Zelda puzzle where you have to like,
But in other
okay,
words,
I need a diamond block, I need
yeah,
a gold ingot, and I have to go into all these chests to get them.
right.
Oh, I can't do that right there.
So you can, I mean, so you find them, and then what? Whole.
And then you
hang-
have to put them in the chest, and when you put them
Oh,
in
I
the
see.
chest,
I see what you're saying.
it unlocks the door for you, and that's how
Right.
you
Well,
actually
all right.
escape.
So there are ways to, and this is where I would need a smart kid to come into the picture. But like, if you have a certain amount of things in a chest or a hopper, I think it is, and you are one short of it, and then you put the last one in, it activates it as if it's like redstone, like as if it's doing the command. So
Okay.
now,
Okay.
watch this though, Mike. Just for real simplicity's sake, do you see where I am? Because I'm not sharing the screen on the one I'm working on right now. But if
See where
you
you are.
teleport to me or whatever, so you can see this. So this is the real simple way of, in a real simple way of getting like to open one of these doors, right? So I filled that with air here. So in other words, that
Sorry, which
opened.
account are you working on right now?
I'm
Mindfair?
in Mindfair. Yeah.
Okay, great. I'm
So
seeing you
all
now.
right, see me now.
Yeah.
So here's just a simple command block that opens this by just filling that block with air, right?
Yes.
Now the other idea would be to step on this, but not fill this one with air, but maybe fill this one with air. So
Yeah.
it's, you know what I mean? So it
Yeah,
tricks you a little bit. So that we could do things like that real easily. Oh, hopper. Yeah, hopper. Ben needs his coffee.
Yeah, I like that idea.
What about a switch in a room that is close to the area where something is to be built to construct a platform to access an area that was previously unreachable? That we could do. It builds while you're unable to see it, but you're close enough for it to build. Magical feeling. Yeah. So like things like that. Like in other words, if we step on this and it fills an area, let's say I need stairs to show up or something like that. I mean, we could always do that kind of thing also. So those are some of the things we're going to be playing with. But like, again, if I wanted this to be the one that really opens, it's 6725 161. I'm using my phone as my little notebook. 6724 really. 24 161. So so now, Mike, instead of like what I had there, let's say we go. What the heck? Now I'm confused. Did I lose my, oh, there it is. Okay. So here's So instead of this one, I'm going to do fill 65. Let's see. No, 67. 67, 24, 161 with air. So now, instead of this, see what I'm doing? You still watching me, Mike, at all or no? Okay, so now instead of this opening up, I go here and I'm like, oh man, nothing happened. And then I look, oh, it didn't work either. In theory, this should have, I might have had the wrong 67, or maybe it's 68, 67, 24, 162, maybe? Thought I had it. No, it should be 161. Let me see what I did wrong here. Maybe there's a syntax error.
67,
There is.
25,
There is.
161.
Oh, you know what I did wrong? I have to, if I'm filling a block with air, I have to fill from one place to another. So here we go. Ready? And you're not seeing my code, but all right. Anyway, now here we go. I'm going to step here. Uh-oh, nothing happened. And then I look over there and it opened. So then I have to think, ooh, that was cool. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. So, and this one, the thing is it's obvious that there's a pressure plate and a command block here. We could hide some of it if we want, or we could do all sorts of things. But the idea is that, you know, let's see. And sorry, let's see, on a phone for coordinates and not right. Ha, genius, Steve. You just saved many trees and a lot of Post-it notes. Yeah, it's funny. I actually kind of like the idea of Post-it notes because it's, you know, that quick chicken scratch. But yes, the phone, I am saving the environment, which would be great for the Sustainable Development Goal challenges. Time to teach. Bye, Scott. All right, so we have a few ideas. Now, Tyser has been especially quiet. I wonder if there's...
Yes, no, I've been thinking hard.
Okay. I didn't know if maybe we were going to go over, there was going to be something, let's say, to say... Okay,
yeah,
here we go.
So the simple idea is... Oh, that one's...
Yep.
It's the kind of idea that, you know, a cart would start here. You could possibly have something in the chest, like a key or a flint and steel, if you wanted to do that. And you progressively have to use levers, which will be situated around the sides.
Yep.
To control various different bits of track. So, you know, at the minute, this one will push the cart straight into the block and it will get stuck.
Yeah.
It'll be a good idea, actually, to have a command block that could reset the cart's position at some point.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, we're thinking about a lot of that part, like cloning different areas so that it resets things and whatnot. And that would be an interesting idea too. Like one of the levers you could pull actually just resets the whole thing. But the other thing, one of my students, actually Felix, who is presenting with me in a few days, he created something very much like this behind a glass wall in his escape room. And you had to navigate the rail cart, and eventually you got it to come to a place with an opening so you could reach in and get to the chest. Is that kind of what you're going for?
It's very similar. Yeah.
I love that, and I think it was really well done in his game too. That's in a different realm, but we have that escape room. Okay, now, and Becky's talking something about a Rubik's Cube. Activate certain triggers to get the rooms lined up properly to go in the right order. Wow, that's easier to simulate in a non-3D game space, given the illusion of connected rooms. And Minecraft could probably integrate teleporting. Yeah, that's the other cool thing too about, you know, with Minecraft is so many of these puzzles could evolve. You know, you step on something and you teleport somewhere else, and that also gives this interesting, like, ooh, you know, I didn't have to go through that door. I actually, you know, teleported to the other side or what have you. But yeah, this idea we're definitely going to have to continue with for the rail cart. And in fact, we could probably even recruit Felix back to help support that further, because he did, you know, his worked out really nicely in the other one.
Well, I think that'll be neat.
Yeah. And that's just great. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, if you've got a pro at it, then go for it, because this is the first time I've made one of these, so...
Yeah, but I definitely...
We are all learning as we go.
Yes. But the idea is perfect to have this in there as a puzzle that's... Like I love the visual nature of it, especially in this VR environment.
I just wonder, is there a... I don't know it being in the cart first person and having the levers actually like physically there in a sense.
Yeah.
I think
You mean where you're in the cart and you're come to different
pretty much
places?
if you had to travel through basically this cart maze, if you had some mechanic that if you hopped out the cart, it either you got killed or it reset you back to the beginning.
Mm.
So you're forced to stay in the cart. So then in first person in VR, you're having to look at the levers and try and like work out where they need to go. And then with your watchtower idea or like the observation tower, if you had that at the beginning, you almost would have to work out the route that you need before you go inside.
Work out the what?
The route that you would go, what levers would you need to flick before you actually hop inside the cart and get going round it?
You mean once you drop in, you mean and you start to see? In other words, you're saying, you're saying like if you could see it from above, but then you actually get in the cart to ride it
to the exit. Yeah.
That's interesting. Or even if you just use the levers and you could look down there and see whether it worked or not, because you would see that the path looks correct now, and then go into the cart because it should work at that point. Would that?
Yes. So instead of using a cart to get you a key at the end, you actually get into the cart.
Yeah.
And instead of the levers being on the top, they're actually at track level.
So in other words, you're actually in the cart doing the levers as you go. Like I'm actually going to look to my right.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's a possibility too. I'm sad to say that we're just about out of time, but I think we have some great ideas to work with now. And I think, like with every project, I think we're now realizing how much work we have ahead of us. What do you think, Mike?
Love it. And for this, I've also been thinking. I've been thinking about this water room, which I also loved, and the idea that you come into this room here, and you would drop down here, and then you would have to we would have to have like some sort of activation. And then the water would start filling up, and you can see that there's a door there, but the door would have to be triggered by something, and you would have to trigger it before you this is the roof.
You mean you have to get through it before you can't? Would that happen with the door?
You would have to get through it before you drown, because remember you're in survival.
Yeah. Okay, got it. So now, how would we get actually, and that's interesting too, because the water could keep filling, because we could have something that at least fills the next layer with water or something. There are a lot of ways we could do this. And that brings in a whole lot of these interesting death trap type ideas too, that would be small little experiences, which would be quite fun. And I think the idea of while you're in, like you said, in VR, kind of at the mercy of drowning or whatever. So
fun.
I'm thinking, Mike, we might have to continue this this afternoon. But
yeah. No, we are totally
okay. Got it.
I'm in on this.
All right. Good. All right. I know that I have to go, and I think we have to say goodbye to our guests. I have my live office hours with my class coming up. But Tyser, thank you. It's always great to see you, and you're always welcome to play Minecraft with us. And hope everything hope everything keeps going great for you with your channel and everything, and hope more people find you, because I think what you're up to is awesome.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. It's been fun.
Yes,
this has been a blast. So thanks everyone for joining us. We'll see you later this afternoon at 3:00 on the stream again, where we are obviously going to keep working on this, because it's consuming my thoughts and dreams. Thanks, Tyser. Thanks, Steve. And have a good day, everybody. Bye.
Yes. Bye-bye.